And we're back. And this segment, I actually want to talk to directly those who are struggling, stuck in the mud, and trying to figure out what next step that they need to take in their business. It could also apply to the business person that is at a plateau, not quite sure where to go, what to do, and how to address the next chapters of their life and their business. Which makes me come back to what we were talking about right before the break. And I'm here with Dwain DeVille, my friend. He's an entrepreneur, author, professional speaker. The list goes on. He wrote this incredible book that you need to go out and pick up today. Dwain's book is The Biker's Guide to Business. Dwain, talk to us about a crucial part that can either A, help you springboard into your new life as an entrepreneur, or better yet, break through the plateau in your business right now.
Well, understand that everybody goes through that. Everyone's going to reach that point in life where they have to make a change, or they've plateaued out, or they're bored, or they've hit a tough time. One of the toughest times I had was with the 9/11 tragedy. Pretty much wiped out my business. And so I had a decision to make. Was I going to continue? How was I going to continue? What was I going to do? So I went out to a friend's boathouse and sat on a lake for a couple of days in a row, and I brought a yellow pad with me where I listed out all of the things I knew how to make money doing. And then I took that list and I broke it into two categories. I did a T account. On the left side, I listed all of those things I was most passionate about doing. On the right side, I listed those things that I just had to do for business. On the left side, the litmus test for passion was whether I'd get out of bed with 101-degree fever and do it without a problem. And so that's what really made me understand this is the type of business you want to be in. This is what you want to do with your life. And the other stuff, I figured out either how to have somebody else do it for me, or I just do some of that stuff on Sunday mornings when I have time to focus on and get it out of the way so I can just live my life. And once you determine that, then you have to set the goal and say, okay, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful at it, here's what I want it to be. So when I looked at starting my own business, I thought, here's how much money I want to make a year. Now, I can find one client to pay me that, but that's a job. Or I can find multiple clients to pay me X that equal that. And that's a company. That's a business that you can wrap your head around. So that's how I started. And so it's a blended type of an approach to making money that I was looking at. So that's sort of how I sat through and I went through that process, because you just have to simplify and understand that you're not alone, that everybody's going through this, that it's nothing wrong with you. It's just a cycle of life that we go through.
In the book Good to Great, they touch on the Aesop fable of the hedgehog and the fox. Speak to us about the fable and how it applies to business.
Well, the difference is that the fox has many different strategies to take care of many different problems, whereas the hedgehog does one thing and one thing really, really well. In other words, they simplify it. And when I read the book Good to Great, it was a self-help book for me, because it talked about the hedgehog concept, which are the three circles. The first circle is, what are you most passionate about in the world doing? The second is, what will people pay you for? And the third question is, what are you best in the world at doing? And where those circles intersect is your sweet spot, and that's what you do. That's what you're going to be great at. And why are you going to be great at it? Because you just do it naturally. You want to do it. You know, no matter what the consequences, no matter what the issues that pop up, you want to do this every single day, and you will do it. You just don't realize that you're going through tough times. So as I look back on my 29-year career, I can see those difficult times that I went through, and you wonder how you got through them, but you did it one day at a time.
You know, it's funny. When I was at a crossroads as well, too, I remember speaking to this incredibly inspiring woman. Her name was Gina, and she asked me to play along and do this exercise with her. And I mean, I was in between jobs and businesses, or whatever you want to call it, and I had no direction for where I wanted to go. I didn't know where up, head, or tail was. I was just lost. And she just asked me, you know, if you could separate yourself from what you're going through right now, what would be the one thing that you would really enjoy doing? And the first thing that came to my mind naturally, which is essentially the art of my life, is working with people, hosting people, being around a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, okay, that sounds great, but what do you want to do with it?
Right.
I heard somebody say big ticket item, and it just sounded really good. I didn't even know what it meant. So I just said, working with people with a big ticket item. And then we just went through a list of possible businesses. She's like, do you think you'd be interested in selling motor coaches? And I said, absolutely not. Exotic cars? Absolutely not. She goes, well, what about real estate? I said, well, I don't know anything about real estate, so why would I even do that? And it just so happened that as you become clear about what you align yourself with, that law of attraction works as well too. And a lot of what you're looking for starts to align itself, show up in your life. It's kind of like how our RAS works in our head, which is the reticular activating system. Once you start to focus on what you're wanting to achieve, those questions start to get answered through people, circumstances, books. And I think what you've done today is you've really laid down, in summary, the groundwork on what to do. Start off with that T exercise. Figure out what you're really great at in terms of how you can make money, what you're good at. And essentially, that's what they call the art of your life. The science of your life is the things that you may need to work on, the skills that you may need to learn, the things that you need to do to set up your business, your endeavor, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's partnerships. Maybe it's getting the right people to do those skills that you can't execute. And I think what you clearly said, and I want to repeat this again, is number one, find out what you're passionate about. Because when you're clear about what you're passionate about, you will do that. If you're sick with 101-degree fever, if it's Sunday and you're tired because you've been out with your friends all night long, or better yet, it's that driving reason, that bigger why to do it. Let's talk about number two again. Talk to me about that circle again, because I want people to remember that and understand what the process is. What's circle number two?
Absolutely. You know, what you're really talking about is what I said earlier in the conversation. Find your path. Once you identify your path. So what are you the best in the world at? What are you most passionate about doing? And what will people pay you for? That's your business. That's it in a nutshell. So if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you may need to look for something else, because you're going to reach a tough time, and it's going to be difficult for you to come through it.
And you may not exactly know what your path is, but it's important to be clear about it and take that necessary first step.
It's important to always be searching. Always be searching. Always look for it. So I think the key component to everyone that I work with is that they're lifelong learners. They're always looking to figure something out. They're looking to learn something new. They're looking to for a different way, a better way of doing what they're doing, because they want to be the best at it.
And the third, once again, because I want this to stick with our viewers and our listeners. What's the third? Because I think I've asked this question in so many different ways, and you've actually nailed it.
Yeah.
It's pretty much that simple.
It is. It's just it's just go and get the book Good to Great. And the key thing to it is that don't worry about the companies that he's talking about in there, because many of them aren't in business anymore. But just worry about the fundamentals and the lessons that he is teaching you, and read that chapter on the hedgehog, and sit down and take the time to identify what is it that you are best at. What is it that people will pay you for?
You know what? You've created a whole other side of your business by creating these CEO peer groups with your other passion, riding motorcycles. And
Right.
many of you can do the same type of thing as well too. Maybe it's mental health and, you know, a wellness retreat in Costa Rica or whatever the case may be, like my friend Zark has done as well too. When you use motorcycle as a metaphor to combine lessons learned from both the boardroom and the saddle to help other people navigate through the challenges of building a successful business, what do you do to maintain your personal life?
Oh, well, it's woven into my personal life, because it's something I absolutely love to do. When I'm holding my CEO ride, which I hold 2 or 3 a year, that's semi-vacation for me, because I'm hanging around with people that I love to be around.
I love
I'm
it.
hanging around entrepreneurs,
love it.
and they're talking about the issues that are facing them, and I remember one very clear moment in there where he walks into the meeting and he said, "My number 2 just quit." And everybody rallied around that guy. And by the time the week was over, he had a game plan. He knew what he was going to do. He wasn't too worried about it, and he literally came through it with flying colors.
So for all of the people listening to you, now's the time. How can people get a hold of you? How can people learn more about Wayne DeVille?
Well, you can go to if you ride motorcycles and you run your business and you want to ride with me, go to theceoride.com or go to dwaindeville.com. And if you want to go deeper into all of my tools, tips, and techniques, buy the book, the Biker's Guide to Business on Amazon. It's still there.
I love it. Okay, last question.
Yes.
You could have dinner with 3 people in the world. Who would those 3 people be?
Oh wow, Peter Drucker, number one.
Okay.
He was my main guy. Probably Evel Knievel. And
The last one?
The last one, that's Chris Schulteis, my best friend who passed away.
I love it. You're listening to Dawood Bedersian. Dwain, thanks for being on the show. Catch us next week right here on Real Sense Now.